welcome to Amy Nolte Music. This is Hideaki Tokunaga. We've known each other how long? Like almost 20 years maybe? No, maybe like 15.
Yeah, 15 years.
15 years, crazy. And we used to play together at this club called Ave London in LA.
Correct, yes.
And we'd have these long breaks. And I just remember one night you told me a story that kind of broke my heart and I felt like was super important. And I wanted to thank you for agreeing to tell me your story today.
Oh, thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. Hide's story is about one of the greatest bass players to ever live, Jaco Pastorius. How did you meet Jaco, Hide?
The first time I met him was at the club I used to work as a busboy.
What was it called?
7th Avenue South, and it's owned by Michael Brecker. I saw his performance when he came to Japan, I think 1983 or 84 with Gil Evans Orchestra.
Wow.
It wasn't good performance at all. He was a little bit, as I think Jaco was struggling that point.
Yeah.
And the bass player, Mark Egan, kind of behind was Jaco's bass, and he did a great job. Yeah. But everybody came to see Jaco. It was Gary Evans. It was interesting.
What city was that?
Osaka. That's where I came from.
And what year? 83 maybe?
83, yeah. I was in high school, yeah.
In high school?
Mm-hmm.
So you came to the U.S. right out of high school?
I was 19 years old, yeah. 1985, I came to United States.
To play jazz guitar?
To study jazz guitar, yeah.
Where were you studying?
First, I was in NYU. I studied with the saxophone player. His name is Joe Lavano.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I took his ensemble, and Joe was a great influence to me. Yeah, yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, and where did you live?
Fraternity and for NYU, so it's 85 West 3rd Street. I think across from the fire station, and I don't think it exists anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you get a gig?
My first gig, as I told you, it was 7th Avenue South as a busboy, and it was a club. They have a main stage until 2 o'clock in the morning, and then they close out at 4 o'clock in the morning, and there's a private bar, private hanging,
Okay.
And that was my first solo guitar gig. And
from 2 to 4 in the morning?
No, 2 to 4 there is people still hang around.
Okay.
And at 4 o'clock, only the people who would like to stay will be kicked out, and I close the key because at that time it's illegal. And sorry for Michael Brecker, as everybody goes, there's a two second floor and the first floor, and first floor is just a bar.
Mm-hmm.
Second floor is a small bar and a performance space, and Jaco played on the second floor, and of course Michael Brecker plays the second floor. So after the live performance, 2 o'clock in the morning, people at the audience goes down or they leave, right?
Okay.
Yeah. And so that's my job to clean up everything.
Yeah.
And doing dishes and stuff. Then 4 o'clock in the morning, some people stayed, and some people come from SOB, Sound of Brazil, next door,
Okay.
and Sweet Basil.
Nice, yeah.
And they will come to our club, and we have to open the door for them. And they go upstairs, and they do something you don't want to know. And that's the club, my first gig as a solo guitarist.
At 4 in the morning?
4 in the morning to 6 or 7 a.m., yes.
So that reminds me of like Charlie Parker taking a gig as a dishwasher just so he could hear Art Tatum.
That's nice story. Yeah, but I can't compare myself to Charlie Parker. Yeah.
Okay, but I'm comparing you right now.
Okay.
Oh, so you played solo guitar?
Solo guitar, and everybody's there. Michael, and of course Jaco. Yeah, and Jaco even plays somewhere else. He will always come back at 4 o'clock in the morning to be there.
Wow. So he would hear you play?
Yeah, many times. Yeah.
Was he listening?
He was listening, and actually nobody was listening, and Jaco was listening, and Jaco always walk around with and like this, shh, and everybody becomes so quiet, and I become so nervous because I could play solo guitar because nobody was listening to, But when Jaco, comes around and they do like this, be quiet because he's playing, and I became so nervous.
Oh, yeah. But everybody probably listened to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because everybody's doing something really, that I can't describe here.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it's interesting. They become quiet and listen to me.
Did he talk to you about your playing at that? Like, do you remember the first time?
The very first time?
Maybe.
Very first time I wasn't playing the guitar. I was, he knew me as a dishwasher or a busboy, and also I mentioned I played the guitar. But when I was practicing the guitar, the main stage was Jaco's stage, so he always comes, see me, and he accompanied as a pianist.
He accompanied you as a pianist?
As a pianist, he accompanied me. Yeah.
Was he a good piano player?
He was very good. Yeah, he was impressed. Yeah, he has. He plays his songs, and I play his songs.
That's amazing. Did I also hear that he played bass for you once?
No. Means main stage he played the bass.
Okay.
He picked up my guitar and he played. My guitar, yeah.
Maybe that's what I was remembering.
Yeah, he played. One day, he came to pick up my guitar and play, he set on my big amplifier.
Mm-hmm. I like the story that you told me about you playing a Beatles song.
Yes. One day, so Jaco was playing somewhere else. I think it could be Lone Star Cafe. You know where that place?
No.
And so 4 o'clock in the morning, he came to the 7th Avenue South, and of course somebody opens the door. Sometimes he can't get in because it's a little bit wacko, But he came upstairs where I was performing, and he did the exactly same thing because he's playing, and everybody quiet. Then he came up to the stage. But before up to the stage, maybe I was playing, something, solo guitar,
jazz standard or something.
Yeah. But when I saw Jaco, I wanted to make something kind of show off,
special.
So I was so stupid and I was so young. It's just, I was 19 years old. First of all, it's 19 years old, and I didn't have green card that time.
Ooh.
So it's kind of. I'm glad Michael hires me.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to see what I can do, and so I play, Donna Lee. That was his icon tune, right?
Yeah.
But I remember I couldn't play that well, So I kind of stopped in the middle, and Jaco said, "Slow down,"
Yeah.
as the audience, I tried so many times, I stopped playing. So, and I was so disappointed in myself because usually Jaco is a little bit drunk or maybe high.
Yeah.
So I didn't think he would care,
Mm-hmm.
And that time he was kind of straight, and then I made these big mistakes.
Right. The one night that he's sober.
Right. So after the set, after my solo guitar set, he said, "Come on down to downstairs." And he asked me, "Do you know any Beatles tunes?" And I said, "Yeah." And it's some kind of jazz arrangement, Yeah.
Here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah. And he said, "Oh, that's good tune, but the Beatles I meant to be is like the."
Oh.
Like a
Come
rock
together.
and roll.
You wanna- yeah, like-
as it, do you know any of those? That's embarrassing. So, I'm sorry, no, Jack, I really don't know that.
Yeah.
It was, and if I know it, maybe I can make an arrangement out of it. And I said, and do you know any? And he asked me if I know any Jimi Hendrix, and
Whoa.
I said, no, really, I can just mimic,
Yeah. Well, you were you were just learning from Joe Lovano. You're probably listening to Joe Pass.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was quite different.
Yeah.
And said, oh, okay. So he picked my guitar and he showed me his Jimi Hendrix. So wow. And then so I said, so okay, now you play. And so I was playing those jazzy tunes. I said, and he looked at me and says, that's the 9th chord, 13th chord? And I said, yes. And, I don't, in my music, I don't have those chords. So that's not true, because he plays 13th or 9th notes as a bass note,
Yeah.
And I didn't get that message at all, But I think because he saw me not playing well on Donna Lee, and which was challenging, and it was a much faster tempo, and also a nice jazzy chord.
Yeah.
And I think my interpretation is that's not only the music is music. It could be anything that's easy and
Right.
That's my interpretation. Then there was a lady. Her name is Terry. That was Jaco was singing at that point.
Okay.
I think it was 7 a.m. in the morning, and it was just two of us, and Jaco wanted me to go over the green room upstairs.
Yeah.
It's right next to the stage there, and come on down, and let's hang out and play there. And Terry wants to go home.
Okay.
And she kept knocking, and I said, and Jaco said, finally, oh, there's one thing I have to tell Hide, and he didn't have anything at all, but he picked up my guitar again, and he played a Donnery.
Oh.
But, it was, my guitar is 6 strings, his way playing a Donnery was a 4 strings.
Yeah.
So, after he plays, and said, I can't play the guitar, because I usually play the 4 string. But it was really a nice message to me, and that he wanted to show it could be music. It's not just something complicated or something. It's speed or anything. And so
maybe he thought you didn't spend enough time learning those old beautiful rock and roll songs, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Before you do the Donna Lee, you need to do Jimi Hendrix.
That's true. Yeah.
That's a great lesson.
Yeah, it was a great lesson. Yeah.
In his own way.
Yeah.
So tell me what happened after that.
There are many things. Jaco's story is just kind of endless. It's if people have many stories, and there are a bunch of people has many different stories with Jaco. I see good and bad. And 7th Avenue South was closed on a New Year's on 1986.
You brought your jacket.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This is a jacket. This is the logo, 7th Avenue South. And I saw Michael Brecker gave this jacket to Jaco.
Really?
Yeah. And Jaco said, Jaco loves to trade.
Okay.
So if I have a nice hat like this, and he said, let's trade.
Yeah.
And he rarely gives out, but he kind of he just wanted to trade. I don't know what he took from me, but this is Michael Brecker gave to Jaco, but Jaco gave it to me and trade off. Maybe he took my jacket.
Something.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
7th Avenue South was closed New Year's of 1986. I remember the last person who performed was Bill Frisell.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was the one who cleaned up everything. And,
Yeah.
you know, it's interesting. I used to get paid from Michael to the
Yeah.
cash. Yeah.
He would give you cash?
Cash.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he asked me if you can clean up, and because the 7th Avenue South will be closed for sure. And I said, okay. And so I clean up. And I stopped seeing Jaco for a while. And I noticed he's at the basketball court on the West
4th Street.
Yeah.
By the subway station.
Yeah. And as was a homeless guy, you know.
Yeah.
And he sees me, and quite often, and so that's a sad story. But one day, I used to my first kind of date, or means going out with the lady was lady. Her name's Dolores, and she's an African American lady, and I didn't know anything about the date, you know. So just it was a lunchtime, and of course it's a platonic and nothing going on. It's before I get married.
Yeah,
too. And so I took her to Little Italy.
Yeah.
You know, and I had a nice pasta or something. On the way back, and I was going to see her off at the subway station. I happened to be West 4th Street. Yeah, we go. It's a Jaco.
Yeah.
You know? And I said to Dolores, you know, that guy over there, you might not believe, you know, how great he is. He's a, you know, greatest bass player in the history.
Yeah.
And she asked me if I knew him, and I said yes, you know. But she said, let's go say hi. And I said, but I don't want to, you know,
embarrass.
You know,
yeah.
just, you know. I said, are you sure you want to, you know, I asked Dolores, are you sure you want to see him? Because it's just a, and she said, yes, you know, just for her curiosity.
Yeah.
Know. So I went to see Jaco, and I said, hi, Jaco, you know, and I was going to introduce Dolores, but before I introduced Dolores, I said, hey, man, I got the guitar for you. And I said,
he said that to you?
Yeah. And he said, okay. And he said, and just wait here, and I will get the guitar. And he disappeared, right?
Man.
And, okay, so I said to Dolores, I was going to see her off on the subway, you know, the West 4th Street. And so I said, and I wait like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, and so I told Dolores, and that, you know,
He's
you know, he won't come back. And let me see you off at the subway.
Yeah.
You know. She said, no, he'll be back. He said he'll be back. You know? And it's funny thing, there was 2 ladies, and one guy was there.
Okay.
It was Jaco's brother, and Ingrid, Jaco's second wife.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lady from Germany, her name's, I think, Hannah.
Okay.
That scene comes on the Jaco's biography book.
Oh, in the biography? Okay.
By the way, it's Ingrid doesn't like that book. But Ingrid is she passed away too. Anyway, I was there, and sure enough, Jaco came back with his guitar.
Gosh.
And I think somebody, my assumption is somebody lived in a camper or something. You know, he just brought the guitar, and he said, play, you know. He
wanted you to play right there?
Yeah, and he said, play Donna Lee. That's okay. So I played Donna Lee. And something, it says something, play something beautiful. And I remember it was kind of corny, you know, I played it, you know.
Misty.
Uh-huh. And he starts singing along with me, and he looked back on his back.
Yeah.
And he looked at the sky, and I didn't know what's going on. Later on, okay, so that was the end of the story at that moment.
On that day.
Yeah. And I said, it's not the end. So I said, okay. Then surrounded by kind of policeman and ambulance surrounded by him, and he's handcuffed. And
Just out of the sudden. All of
no,
a sudden?
after I perform.
But the same day.
Same day, yeah. So that's not the end
They
of the
just
story.
came.
Yeah,
Okay.
he just came, and put him on the ambulance with along with those two ladies, or maybe two ladies and the guy. I didn't know who they are, and later on I found out. They took Jaco to hospital, Bellevue Hospital in New York,
Okay.
and so I had a guitar, right?
Yeah, he gave you a guitar.
Right. So yeah. So and Ingrid was crying.
Wait,
And-
was it like an intervention? Were they trying to get him to go clean up?
right.
That was it.
That was a day,
Wow.
and that was heavy to me. And I saw something is wrong because I didn't know what's going on, right. Of
Yeah.
course. And I saw they arrested me for some no reason.
Yeah.
So I was a little bit scared, but I don't know what to do with the guitar.
Yeah.
So, and I said to Jaco, what shall we do inside? And the police are stopping me. And the police took the guitar and what do you want to do this guitar? And,
Yeah.
And Jaco said, give it to that Japanese guitarist. It's not mine. And I asked the homeless people around him, so what should I do? This belonged to so and so, and I just gave it to him.
Okay.
Okay. Then I found out that those people took him to the hospital,
Yeah.
and years passed. And I found out Jaco passed away, and in I think Fort Lauderdale,
yeah.
in Florida. So I decided to fly out to see his funeral. So I got there, and I was in church along with my friends and the producer of those Big World Records, Neil Weiss, and whom I met at the 770 South, also who saw those encounter with Jaco and me quite often.
Okay.
And so I think I was sitting with him, and the lady with two kids walked in, and I was to the church while I was at his funeral. She was smiling, and Neil was nodding. Also, I said, I assumed that was Jaco's widow, and two twins, because Jaco used to show me that kids of two twins photo quite often when I was a busboy.
Yeah.
So I said, okay. So I just send my condolence by nodding. I didn't remember who she was.
Yeah.
But I was sitting next to Neil. Later on, the lady contacted Neil Weiss, and she said, I saw him at the park. So Neil called me right away after the funeral and said, did you play the guitar for Jaco at the West 4th Street? And I said, yes. And did you see Ingrid? And Ingrid, and I don't know who that is. And Ingrid is the lady, Jaco's widow. And, I saw her. I didn't know that was her inside of the ambulance too,
Right.
And he said, that time, Jaco cried, after he listened to your performance. And I said, what? And so that was kind of, I was so surprised because I remember he looked he looked behind me and he looked at
the
sky.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was crying because I couldn't see it.
You were just trying to play really well, probably. Yeah.
But that story kind of Ingrid shared with Neil.
Yeah.
It was kind of is my nice part of Jaco's story, and even though it was kind of, who would think that part, at the West 4th Street in New York, and he was kind of having a difficult time, and just that's the worst moment for him, right?
And he thought of you.
Yeah, and it was just, I don't know, I don't think he cried of my guitar playing at all. Maybe the kind of environment, and his brother was there, his wife was there, but I always, many people said good and bad thing happened to Jaco, and he's kind of extreme, yeah. But I see within the bad moment, bad environment, I always see nice thing he really did to me, and that's the yeah,
like a big brother.
Yeah. Anyway, so going back to the 7th Avenue South part, we play the music together, and again, Jaco played the piano, and Jaco asked me if I know any of his song, and I, to tell the truth, I didn't know any of his tunes memorized, but there's a tune called 3 Views of a Secret, and so I didn't know the tune, but when he accompanied me, that the finger just follow that the melody is, and
he played the melody on the piano, and you
I
you knew the melody.
I knew the melody, but
Okay.
I didn't know if I could play.
Yeah.
So Ingrid, since the funeral day, Ingrid and I became pretty close.
Yeah.
Sending crossman, sending Christmas cards or something.
Yeah.
But 99 or 98, I had a cruise gig.
Okay.
Leaving Fort Lauderdale to Caribbean, and every Sunday we came back to Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
Not only that, I went to Fort Lauderdale a couple of times before, and the first time was when twins are so small.
Yeah. For the funeral.
That's the first time.
Okay.
Second time, I went back to his gravesite, and Ingrid and 2 kids guided me to, and with my wife Carrie.
Wow.
Yeah, and so that's the second time. Third time, and I performed somewhere in Fort Lauderdale area.
Yeah.
And then when I started cruise gig, I have Sunday off.
Okay.
So it's the cruise ship comes back to the big port for Lauderdale, so I have entire Sunday off. So each Sunday, she invited me to the Jaco's house.
Wow.
In Deerfield Beach. So Ingrid has scrapbook, right?
Oh, yeah.
For Jaco.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's amazing, I could tell, she really loved Jaco. But there is one section of the album, molded rotten cheese.
Wait, say that again?
Molded cheese is green cheese.
Oh, it had moldy cheese?
Molded cheese.
On the album?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Scrapbook.
Scrapbook, yeah.
Okay, and there's a postcard, and there's a postcard. A cheese was attached to it, with the tape.
Okay.
It's so funny. It's Jaco was writing to Ingrid, and I forgot the sentence was, but I finally complete the composition dedicated to you. And Ingrid didn't want him to write a composition called Ingrid. And there's a famous composition called Portrait of Tracy. And if bass player, everybody knows that song, That was his first wife.
Okay, right.
Second wife is Ingrid, and Ingrid didn't want...
She wouldn't want her name in a composition.
Correct, yeah. And so Jaco wrote the postcard. I finally, wrote this composition and dedicated to you. And I said, it's called Three Views of a Secret. And that was Switzerland. So that's why
Switzerland?
He wrote down... I don't know, complete the composition in Switzerland. So that was a postcard from Switzerland. That's why he put the Swiss cheese onto the postcard.
Yeah.
And it arrived somehow. It
came.
It arrived into the Deerfield Beach in Florida, and Ingrid put on this scrapbook with the cheese attached. So it's green, but it's so beautiful.
Oh yeah.
So that was a composition I just played, and that was a composition I played and on the stage with Jaco, and actually recorded too. So
recorded too? Do you have a bootleg?
I was 19, so I wasn't good. So I did a couple of times actually playing that song with Jaco.
Wow. And you got to see the story of how he wrote it in Switzerland and sent the cheese. That's hilarious and beautiful.
Yeah.
Gosh. Does Neil have bootlegs of you guys playing together as well?
No. Neil has nice Walkman, and he used to come to Jaco's main stage, and he recorded with a great guitarist Hiram Bullock, and sometimes Mike Stern, and many great drummers that came with the Nerd, and Delmo Brown. You find those big world records and many of Jaco's albums. Yeah, you don't call. I don't think he doesn't want.
He wouldn't say the word bootleg.
Bootleg, correct?
Yeah,
because it's released in the permission with, I believe, Pastorius family. And of course, the process might be a bootleg, but it's released officially.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, you can find those CDs. I think. Yeah.
I almost want to ask you what you would have said to him if you had one more chance to say something. I don't know if you want to answer that, but I wonder if I could ask you if you could play something that you would play for him if you had the chance.
I don't know, but that summer.
Yeah.
So when I saw him, was the West 4th Street was the I think it was summer. Yeah. So maybe I play Estate.
Estate.
You know it?
I do, yeah.
I wish you can play, then I can.
I might be able to sing it, but I can hum it.
Okay.
Do you want me to do that?
Yeah. So I'm into. Is B minor okay?
Sure. It's Estate because it was summer.
Yeah. Okay, so.
Thank you, Hide.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting.
Yeah, I can't thank you enough for that. We'll see you next time on Amy Nolte Music.
Thank you.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Oh.